very lucky and excited you guys got to see this early. It's one of the best movies of the year. I'm David Canfield with The Hollywood Reporter. Thank you all so much for being here. We have a great panel of the incredible stars of this film, beginning with Renate Reinsve. Stellan Skarsgård. Is that what he was known as on set?
No, he was.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Well, Renate, let's start with you as someone who's worked with Joaquin for so long. At this point, when does a new Joaquin Trier project come into your orbit? How early in the process?
Actually, for this one, we started talking about some like different traits for a character and like fantasizing about how it would be with this type of person in this situation, because Julie, worst person in the world, was in so many different costumes. She changed her hair. She was like she was going through a lot of stages in her life, and then we imagined some more stages. And it's of course when Joaquin and Eskil goes to the writing room, it's very like they have to be just ground zero, and like I don't think it was that conscious of a transition, but we started talking about some things there that I feel we wanted to explore that I see in the script. So, and I'm not like at all let into the writing room of the like in any way, but I knew that he knew me better after Worst Person and touring around that movie, both as a person as an actor. So I knew that there would be more of like challenging things for me, and more emotional weight, more depth to that character in a way. So that's kind of that's the answer.
It's a good answer. One thing that he's talked about is this film feeling more mature for him, you know, something that's post-fatherhood and all these different life stages for himself. I wonder if it felt that way for you at all, like coming into a new sort of stage of life. You played films that are very much about you, his past films, so did this one feel different in that way at all?
Yeah, it felt, I guess, I didn't think about that so much, but yes, it felt more like she was more grown up than Julie, and there are some themes that are mirroring each other in a way, but I think she's more set in her life, and she has made some choices which Julie struggled to do, and like there are opposites in some ways too. So there is, yeah, I guess something more grown up to her, and she's in a different life stage. So yeah, but I know what you mean though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inga and Stellan, you're both new to this Joaquin Renate world. So what was your relationship to his films coming into this movie, Stellan?
Well, I've seen his films, and I waited for him to call me. And he did. And of course I would have said yes anyway, but I said, well, come and meet me and I'll have dinner, so we'll talk about it. So we talked about it and had a dance around each other for a while, for a week or so, and then, fuck off, let's do it.
But you knew you were going to say yes the whole time.
Yeah.
What excited you about the project, this particular character?
What excited me the most was Joaquin Trier. And I really wanted to work with him because I've seen how he's developed through his last 4 films or something, and he's a man on the move, and I want to be part of that.
Yeah. We're glad you are. Inga, how about for you? What was your familiarity with Joaquin's movies? What was your desire level to work with him? I would imagine pretty high.
Yes. Well, I'd seen his movies since I was like a student in my 20s. I remember when I first saw Reprise, I remember going to the movies and watching Oslo 31st of August. Is that what it's called in English? Yeah. And I just remember being very like moved so I was really, I've been a fan of his since I was young, and I've never imagined that I would be in this situation and actually working with him. It's not something that I thought would ever happen. And then when you guys did Worst Person in the World, I just remember being very proud of Renate and of like Norwegian cinema, and I thought they're gonna leave and they're not gonna make movies in Norway, and then luckily they did, and luckily he wanted me to be in it, which is such a dream and yeah, a privilege.
One thing, I spoke a little while ago, one thing you shared with me was that you and Renate knew each other early in your careers in a surprising setting, let's say. Can you talk a little bit about that?
We were Renate actually, with a mutual friend of ours, started a theater company that makes children's theater in the city that you're from. And so I was involved in that because of our mutual friend, and that's how we met. And so the first time we worked together was like, I think 10 years ago. And we played theater for families in a circus tent in the park. And Renate played boy with braces, called Kjetil, 12 years old, very aggressive. And I played the girl that he falls in love with, called the girl. And it was just a lot of fun, and I remember like I was so impressed with Renate as an actor, just what she brought to that. Like she brought us all up to like another level of what silly children's theater could be, I thought, and I was very inspired working with her at that time. And yeah, it's emotional. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was also really good to have that like childhood memory going into this. Like we actually felt like we had been kids together in a way, like a little piece of it at least, and gone through something together to build on for this. But I feel that relationship also like evolved very naturally because we kind of also have a similar way of working and diving into something, and yeah, so it kind of grew out naturally. But it was good to have that experience.
There are many movies about families out there, but it's very, very hard to capture what you all do in this movie, the depth of the relationships that you feel on the screen, how real it feels. And I'm curious like what you can say about how the process maybe helped you get there. I know you had a lot of rehearsal time, for example, and obviously Joaquin always works in a very intimate kind of register, so how did you do it? They're looking at you.
Yeah, so Joaquin, rehearsals for him is very important, and he starts quite early so that it's not like a big, serious rehearsal. It's very light. We just start talking about some themes and hang out, and we start, of course, like sniffing out some things in our character, and then we leave it, and then it goes like a few days, and then we get back to it, and like the good thing about it is that slowly it will sear in all these subconscious things about the character, about the situation, that then on set, because this has had time to like just grow inside in a very kind of invisible way. On set, then we feel very free, and we can allow ourselves to be very raw and lose control because it's kind of set in us in a way. Is that okay?
And also he films us when we're rehearsing, not because we don't rehearse to set the scenes how we want to do them. We rehearse also for him and Eskil, the writers, to what they find during those rehearsals in our action. They use and write later, rewrite the scenes after that.
How did you find your first couple conversations, Stellan, with Joaquin about the character? Did it go in a direction maybe that surprised you at all?
First I said, what is your problem with parents and fathers? I mean, all his old male characters in all his films, all the fathers before this have been real assholes. So everybody's so nicely portrayed, but not the fathers. So I said that immediately to her. And I said, I know, but it's not gonna be like that. It's just on the paper. He said. and it was on the paper, so we cut it, so he took away some of the shit.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah,
sort of
he's also
balanced it.
said, just to say something that you can't say, because it's something Joachim says about you that's really nice, that they kept writing the father worse and worse and worse, so they knew that they needed a really nice
Guy.
person to actually fill in, to make him human, because but he does that to dads in his movies.
But they were really bad.
Yeah, they're really bad.
It took
I had
you-
hell defending him.
Yeah.
It took you to soften him up a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did. But not softening him up, but I had to explain him.
Yeah.
And we got room for that in this film. And he sees actually even the father figures as human beings now.
Now he does.
Now, Inga, what can you say about really maybe the tenderness of the set and the way in which the movie was made?
Well, I think like the way he approaches it is just by being very gentle and caring, and he really respects actors, which is such an amazing feeling to have, and it makes it feel like you're very safe, and that I felt like I could trust him, because we started off by, like in the auditions, he started off by having a half an hour conversation, just talking about us, like me and him in our life and what we liked and were interested in, and that, so you just get to know each other as humans and not as like director, actor, which I think, for me at least, that made me, just very comfortable and safe, and able to be very personal and raw in a way. And I think he doesn't just do that with the actors, he does that with everyone, it's my impression. So everyone feels like they're in it and that they own it in a way, which I think is so important. And so, like every day on set, I felt like we were making something together, and that the crew also has like personal stakes in the story and in filming, does something to the actors as well. It makes it feel very special and very like collaborative and very creative and inspiring. And I think that makes a huge difference.
What can you say about working with Stellan as your father?
I think that was a very, very nice experience.
Thank you.
I was like, I hadn't met Stellan before. Had you met him before?
No.
Was this the first time?
No.
Yeah. So the first time I met him, I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna meet him, and I haven't met that many like super mega famous actors before. But he's like, he just walks in and he's like this Swedish guy, so nice. So like down to earth, you just immediately feel like, oh, he's a human, which is nice. And he's not like your father. But you are. And also very generous as an actor, very like, he's very present and very like deep and emotionally available, but also a little, there's something in those eyes that's kind of like, I don't know, it's not scary, but there's something, you don't necessarily know what's gonna happen, which is very interesting.
All right. Okay.
Wait, now I want to hear Renate's experience too.
Well, yeah, it's the same, you never know what's gonna happen. What you see him like walking in the room really slow, like a moose. And then he has like this twinkle of fox in his eyes, and like the face of an eagle, and you don't know what that's gonna bring to the day. Yeah.
A lot of animals there. Walking zoo, I guess.
Yeah, you are. It's a compliment.
Thank you.
I think it's enough.
Yeah.
Stella, I'm curious in terms of one of the central plot points of the film is the script that your character has written. Did you talk to Joachim at all about exactly what was in the script, what the root of its inspiration was? It's obviously like a big point, same questioning within the film. I'm wondering like what you went into it with in terms of backstory and things like that.
I mean, it's pretty obvious in the script already, the sort of skeleton.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk much about sort of all analyzing details and going into the background of everybody. And it was not about that. It was, and also you see the film, it happens between the lines very much. It's a dream for an actor to work with a director who is interested in what happens between the lines. But and this is the first time I really do it. And I don't need much talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I ask the director, no, shut up. We'll talk about it later. And then you want to try things and you want to feel. It's like every decision you make before you do the scene it sort of stops you. It sort of fences you in a way. So I want to go in and feel that anything is possible. And I never say that my character wouldn't do that, because I don't know that my character wouldn't do that. Maybe my character is more interesting than me. Think about that.
It's a thinker. There's this beautiful, very subtle exploration of regret, question of regret, I think, in the way that he navigates this film. Can you talk about playing those shades, modulating exactly who this guy is to his daughters in this moment? Because it can be confusing even to them sometimes.
Yeah, the thing is that he doesn't know what he is to his daughters, and he's most of the time he's very clumsy. He's trying to, and you feel that he wants to have contact with them, and he tries with his bad lines and outdated manhood and everything to create a contact, and it doesn't help. But it's so I didn't think about how the girls would react. They reacted how they would react. I was thinking about him, what he wanted but couldn't reach, and not knowing it. And so it's fun also to not knowing things.
Lastly, I'll ask the two of you about that incredible scene between you, that moment of real catharsis. What was it like getting to that point between the two of you?
No, we knew it was a pivotal scene in the movie, so we were very scared, but you can't really plan or a scene like that in a very detailed way. You have to be very free and open and flexible to what comes in that moment. And yeah, it's of course it's so charged with that relationship between the daughters and the father, and like what he actually has seen and how he has struggled to communicate, and the discovery of that in that scene. So it has already a lot of emotion. But when we got there, it was like you started talking about, like the whole crew was so leaned in that day. Like Casper Tuxen, the best cinematographer there is to work with, he's so engaged. So you really feel also Joachim, one of his biggest strengths is to get everyone involved in front and behind camera into his vision and what we're gonna do. So we're because he chases the events so that things can occur that is something you can't plan, something uncontrollable, so that it will be something real that comes to life that day, and just keep people on set open to that. So Casper was actually also just like jumping up on bed when we got up to bed, because that was not planned, and a lot of that was improvised.
It was like an improvisation between me, you, Joachim, and Casper.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like we were all four of us in the scene. Because Joachim, I wanted to hug you in that moment, and I was afraid because I didn't know where Casper, I he did that, I felt so free, and I felt so filled with love, and I felt like I had to say I love you, which wasn't in the script. And in Norwegian, that's a very strong, it's not like I love you in English, it's very,
We never say
you
that.
don't say that. I mean, I do, I say it to my husband and my child, because they're the people I love, and I want to say that, because that's not been something that we have said in my family, we wrote it to each other, you know? So I'm just taking it, and so I felt like, this is what I would say, this is what I would want to say to my sister, because this is completely the truth. And this moment, I felt like, oh, this moment deserves such a huge thing, you know? And luckily it worked, I think.
It worked.
Yeah.
You can feel it watching it. That's all the time we have. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for coming
Thank you so
out.
much.